These chapters don't deserve a great entrance. So,
right?
This is our intro. Like this
No.
This is it.
Can't be our intro.
Yes, it is.
This really?
Oh yeah. I'm not doing no like crazy intro. I'm not doing anything like. This is it.
Really? Okay, so the book's bad. Our podcast doesn't have to be bad.
All right, here. This is the intro. Ready?
Ready. What just happened? It was like some like Super Saiyan just going off like. It also sounded like you were like running around like your room with your arms out extended as if you were an airplane. Okay, so yeah, welcome to Twilight Noobs. We're literally mentally handicapped. Holy cow. I'm gonna need a button. I want a button now.
You gotta put that in your soundboard.
I know, I need that in my soundboard now.
Dude.
I can't wait to have that audio.
That sound, you wanna know what that sound is? That's the sound of pure
Constipation
disappointment.
blues.
That too. Just
pure disappointment, huh?
Pure disappointment.
Yeah, I was excited for a pretty sweet like fight scene. No.
Okay, you Twilight fans out there.
You guys suck.
This is the worst ending of a book ever.
There is absolutely no resolution at all. This sucks.
This is the most trash ending of any book ever made.
This is like you've been waiting for a steak for like 8 hours. No, 16 hours. Like you've been talking it up for months. Like, dude, I'm going to have you over for this special steak. I get it imported from Brazil. I don't know, like I tenderize it for like this many hours, like this many days or whatever, and I marinate it for this many hours, and all of a sudden you're like, you're gonna eat it, and then you put your fork into it, and it smells okay, like, okay, here we go, and then you put it in your mouth, and then
you realize
this happens.
You realize it's actually human that you're eating.
It was not what you signed up for. Holy cow. Why did we even start reading this chapter if we had to end like this? Dude, why would Stephanie Meyer write this book if she knew she was going to end it like this the whole time?
No. The problem is the publisher. Who read this book and was like, you know what?
Who published this book?
This is amazing. All right, let's do it.
Little Brown and Company?
We'll sign you.
Megan Tingley Books? Whoever did that has this bad taste.
I can't even get over it. Like
I need to go to the dentist to get this bad taste out of my mouth. This book is just, it's not even worth, if any serious librarian actually cared about their library and the inventory they had, they would not put this book on their shelves. Because they know it's a disgrace to all authors and to all serious storytellers. It's an atrocity.
We're probably gonna lose. Someone probably just clicked off our podcast. They're probably like, you know what? I don't want to listen to this because I'm a hardcore Twilight fan. You know what? That's fine if you're a hardcore Twilight fan. Actually, I don't know if it is.
Dang, you just like cut really deep into some people right now.
I don't even... Dude.
They're probably crying right now.
Dude.
They have like a bottle of whiskey next to them and they're just like, yep, this is it. This is the time I'm going to get roasted right now. I knew it all along. I was a loser for loving Twilight. Dude. Why did I grow up liking this stuff? Why? We're giving you the dose of the red pill right now.
I'm sure you're a good person.
That's debatable. If you like this kind of ending to a book, you might not be a good person.
Okay, there's more books, okay? The story will continue. That's fine, whatever. But this book, like, there's a series. They're supposed to all work together and, like, build each other up and be good, all that stuff. That's fine. But each individual book needs to stand alone as an individual book. It needs to have its own, like, you know what I mean? Like, each book needs to be good on their own. They can't all just, like, you know, I don't know how to explain it, but, like, this book, like, okay, the whole, like, beginning 16 chapters, okay? It's, like, them growing together. They're, like, this couple or whatever, they're like smelling each other's breaths. They're like, I don't know. It's so awkward. And then you get this little taste of plot. You're like, okay, we're going to get something. Like, we're going somewhere with this book. And then it gets ran over by Stephanie Meyer. She's driving.
Hit and run.
Just
hit and ran?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's run or ran or whatever. It doesn't matter at this point.
This is true. It doesn't matter how bad our grammar is because Stephanie Meyer just botched all of the English because she wrote this in English.
Okay.
It's just that bad. There's no way to, like, dive into this either. Like, how do we tell you the ending of this story? Where we left off was her getting completely annihilated by the bad guy and her passing out from a broken leg, like a fractured skull, her bleeding out, and her drifting off, like about to die. Like, she's passing out because she's losing so much blood. Yeah, that's a pretty sweet way to end a chapter, sure.
Yeah.
And then, all of a sudden, where is she? Oh, she's like waking up and the guy's dead. They, like, Edward and Carlisle and James and Emmett, everybody's there. They killed him. Like, we don't get to hear anything. He's just dead. There's blood everywhere. It's his blood. And, and by the way, you're going to be okay, Bella. And, story's over.
And you don't get turned into a vampire.
Nothing. He sucked all the blood and, like, put, like, the venom out. It's gone.
Okay. I know some of you are probably screaming at us right now, like, multiple things. One of you are probably like, no, this is a great book. Like, I promise.
You don't understand.
You don't understand. Okay, two, there's some of you that are probably yelling, this is from Bella's perspective. You have to remember that this is from Bella's perspective. So yeah, obviously.
First person.
Obviously,
yeah,
she's
lame.
not going. Obviously, she's not going to see the fight if she's unconscious. Okay.
Lame.
Two. Okay. Three. A lot of people are probably a lot of you are yelling. Stephanie Meyer wrote a book from Edward's perspective, so you guys need to read that, and you'll probably, like, get to see the fight or whatever. I'm sure that's probably in it. Okay, that's fine. Okay, but
woof.
Here's the problem. Stephanie Meyer wrote this book specifically so that you would not see the fight. She could have had it where Bella was still conscious, but, like, her leg was broken or something, and, like, she was in the corner, and someone ran in, and they started fighting in front of her while she was still awake. She could have wrote it that way. She could have wrote this so differently to where you actually get closure on James. She could have wrote this so much differently. So, like, you're sitting there yelling at us, whatever, but, like, honestly, this could have been written so much better to where we actually, like, find out what happens to James. We get closure on that chapter. Like, okay, this is so bad. I'm sorry, but this is terrible writing. This book has been
Don't apologize. Don't apologize.
The book is terrible writing in it. Like,
I'm pretty sure we're not the only ones that have come to this conclusion after reading this book. There's gotta be somebody else out there that has an even better argument for why this ending sucks. But yeah, you pretty much hit it on the head with everything. Like, she could have written it different. It could have been, we could have been more involved in watching, James die. I mean, you don't just develop a villain and then all of a sudden he's just gone. Literally gone. Like he got ripped apart. He's gone. Like he's dead.
They don't even say that. They say he was taken care of. That's all you hear about it. That's it.
Freaking weak. Like so weak.
Okay, chapter 23 is
it's almost infuriating.
23. Hey, chapter 23 is literally like 2 pages long. Like,
okay, on the book, you get a half a page, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5.5. So more or less 6 pages.
Okay.
And it was short.
You can fit like a fight sequence in chapter 23, or just don't even have a chapter 24. You could fit chapter 3, 23, and 24 in one chapter. There was no need to split up the chapters the way that they were split up. Like,
so stupid.
Let's just do this. I don't think we had any. Did we have any reviews or comments? I kind of went over one of the comments on Facebook that someone said that there's a book about Edward's perspective.
Okay.
So thanks for that. Thanks for that comment, by the way, because I think that book will probably be way better than this one based off of.
Really.
Dude,
after this kind of ending, you think Stephanie Meyer can actually make a good book? I don't know.
I'm not saying it would be a good book, but it's got to be better than this, where we actually get to see what happens with James. That's what I'm saying. So,
dang man, I don't know. I just feel like her style of writing will ruin that too. I mean, she's got a sweet setup. She's got vampires. She got bad guys. She at least has a story. But I just don't think I can trust her and actually like coming through with a good ending, or at least a good plot build up, because it's going to be the same thing. It's just going to be Edward being like, oh my gosh, she smells so delicious. I can smell her from miles away.
I think Twilight got popular because it was like, what's the word I'm looking for? It was like the cool thing at the time. You know what I mean? Like, I think that like girls like read it and they're like, oh, it's cool, whatever. And so it was like a peer pressure thing. Like everyone read them and was like, oh yeah, and it's totally cool. Like all the girls were saying that. So like if you were a girl and you said it wasn't, you were looked at like weird or something. Like that's what I feel like this book is, because I feel like
it got popular for all the wrong reasons.
I think it got popular for the wrong reasons, and I think that people, if they read them again, like if like now, I think people would see this. I really do, because.
And I don't think we're out to get Stephanie Meyer or Twilight fans or anything.
I want to.
We're just here like. We want to understand what the hype was and at the same time just poke fun at the book. But now, I'll speak for myself. I'm ticked off at this book. Like, seriously? This qualifies as a New York Times bestseller? Dude, whoever makes New York Times sucks. Like, are you kidding me?
I think we're ticked off because we spent all these weeks reading this book. You know what I mean? And we're like, oh yeah, like, all right, we're gonna get, you know what I mean? Like, I think we tried to care about this like book. Like, we tried to like give it its due.
Oh yeah,
we tried.
For
sure. Obviously, like, we're gonna keep reading the books and everything. Like, we're not gonna stop the podcast, but like,
no, I give up. I'm done. This is it. Find another co-host. You suck.
Yeah, right. But I don't know. Their other books better be good. That's all I gotta say. All right, let's do this. Chapter 23, The Angel. All right, so
I can't do it, man.
All right,
I almost want to get up and go get a drink because I'm just so mad.
I have a drink right in front of me. I'm gonna take a sip right now. You're gonna hear it.
You know what? I don't care. You keep doing the podcast. I'll be right back.
All right,
I'm leaving.
All right,
going.
I hear the door closing. All right, so I'm
coming back now. I shut the door. Are you mad at me?
No. All right, we're back. All right, here we go. All right, so. Excuse me. Sorry.
That's gross, dude.
I'm sorry. All right.
Dang, that was disgusting. You can't do that on a podcast.
I just did.
We'll like get rated something
explicit. Yeah.
bad. Yeah. Body parts and bodily fluids flowing or something. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. All right. So we go. So it's Bella basically, and she says that she's under dark water. She's like, I don't know. She's like kind of in this state where just I don't know. There's just a lot
stuck.
going on. Yeah.
Her mind is blank. She's like in a subconscious state.
Yeah, exactly.
Almost.
She then
She
says
doesn't have quite control of her body or something. I don't know.
She says she hears the happiest sound her mind could conjure up. It was another snarl. So she kind of like comes back to reality, and basically she starts hearing these voices, and it's like, oh no, Bella, no. And obviously this has got to be Edward. So
yeah, it's the angel's voice. Like,
yeah,
come on.
Yeah, the angels is Edward. So we find out that Edward gets to the studio, and they're like, oh no, like it's Carlisle and Edward together, and basically she's lost a lot of blood. Her leg is broken. So they basically Carlisle is like trying to do whatever he can to stop the bleeding from her head, and they're basically just trying to like help her wounds out because she's obviously hurt with all the things that James did to her.
Yeah, he's like, she's got broken ribs, broken leg, her head split open, and then Carlisle's there just like trying to figure out everything that's wrong with her. So he's like poking around, and she feels it. So she's like, oh, this must not be heaven. I guess I'm not dead because it hurts a lot.
Yeah.
I guess she never figured out that she might be bad, and she didn't go to heaven. I guess she's not thinking about that, is she? She might be screwed eternally right now. This could
be the other place. So basically, Edward's trying to like comfort her this whole time, just like saying you're gonna be fine, like Bella, like I love you, please, like you're fine. And then she keeps saying like it hurts, and then we find out that it's her hand, and she's like saying that it's like on fire. Yeah, so her hand got bit, but we still don't hear anything about fangs at all these 2 chapters. Which
I know, right?
I don't get it.
Weak.
I want to know about the fangs. That's something that doesn't
where's
ever
the venom?
Yeah, like where does it come from?
They have venom.
Yeah.
They've got to have sacs in their cheeks, man. I'm telling you. It's in their tonsils.
So she's like saying it hurts a lot, like someone stopped the fire. It feels like her hand's on fire, basically. And it's like, she says it like spreading, like she can feel it like just spreading through her arm. So the venom's spreading. And then we get into the part where Carlisle says like, Edward, like, you can stop this, like you can help her. And he like doesn't want to, and what they're implying is basically Edward sucking the venom out of the fresh wound because it's still fresh, so like it's open still, so he could possibly just like suck out all this venom and cause it to where she doesn't turn into a vampire. And he's like, we have to hurry. And this is the part where I don't understand, because Alice says, will that work? And the thing I don't get about it is, why is Alice asking this question? Why is she asking, will this work? Isn't she the one that's supposed to know if it will work or not? Because like once a person makes a decision, she can see the future and see if it works or not. So if Edward's like, Alice, if I suck the blood, will it work? You know what I mean? Like Edward should be asking this, because if Edward finds out that this will work, then he will do it without question, and just like, do it and she'll be fine. But I don't understand why Alice is asking this. It doesn't make sense to me. It should be the other way. It should be totally the other way around. So
I don't remember that part.
Yeah.
Or will it work? Alice's voice was strained. I don't know, Carlos. We have to hurry. Okay, I get it.
So the question.
I never saw that. That's crazy.
The question could be answered.
Super bad.
If Carlisle's like, "Hey, Alice, will this work if Edward sucks the blood out, like the venom out?" Like, it just flip it, and there's no drama here. Like the question's answered. Like I don't know. Like I know it's like in the moment type thing, and like people don't
Maybe
think
she didn't
straight.
have a vision yet or something.
People don't think straight. I get that, but so Edward has a decision here to let her turn into a vampire or to try to stop it and suck out the venom.
You know what? He made a dumb decision.
I think so too. I think
because the venom would have completely healed her, and now she has to like heal like a normal human if he sucks the venom out.
Like,
so it'll take her weeks and months to repair all her body parts. If she just turned into a vampire, she'd just be done. Couple days.
Yeah, I think this. Okay, I was gonna kind of wait until the hospital thing, but we'll just go now. I think the thing about this part is there's a choice you have to make whether Bella turns into a vampire or not, and the fact that he chooses to suck out the venom and not let her turn into a vampire is kind of interesting because, like, he's basically saying that he doesn't want to be with her forever.
Right.
Because
he wants to live on forever and he wants her to die. Like
obviously,
call that romance. That's pretty bad.
Obviously, like you should live a normal life. That's fine. But like you can't be with Bella forever. Like you can't. Not if she's human. It makes no sense. So at this point, it's just like this selfish like honeymoon phase, basically, where you're like, oh, I love you, like, let's make out all the time. Here in like a year or two, what are you gonna do then? You know what I mean? It's like it's over. So it kind of just baffles me because like you can't be together forever. Like, he's got to realize this. So
he knows for sure.
Like, in the hospital, they have this huge argument over it and everything, and like I totally get it and everything. It's just like you have to make a decision. I think you either turn her into a vampire and you can be together forever, or Edward just needs to leave her for good. You can't have this like middle here. Like, it just doesn't work with their conditions. So I think it's kind of stupid, but
nah, you're right. I got nothing else to say about that. I mean, it's just a bad decision all around.
So
it made no sense.
Yeah. So they're like comforting her still, and then Edward decides that he's gonna do it. So he starts sucking out the venom. I'm sure that's exactly what it sounded like. She says that it hurts worse at first, and then it turns numb, and it slowly gets better and better. And then we find out that he's able to get all the blood out. He's all the venom out. He says her blood tastes clean. And then she's like, feels fine. And she asks about, she's like, they ask her, where is your mother? And she replies, in Florida. He tricked me, Edward. He watched our videos. And then she tries to explain before she loses consciousness. She says, Alice, the video, he knew you. Alice, he knew where you came from. And so she's like trying to explain the whole like Alice backstory to her.
And then she's like, I smell gasoline.
Yeah. And
out of nowhere, just side note, I smell gasoline.
I don't know, yeah. We find out that they're pouring gasoline in the studio and they basically light it on fire, like after obviously they get out. But right. I don't know. At that point, I didn't know what they were really talking about. I just heard like, I smell gasoline. I was like, okay.
I just figured they were burning what's his face.
Oh, that could be it too. Yeah. So. And
then the whole place burned down because of that.
So basically,
unintentionally.
She falls asleep, and like that's the end of the chapter. Like it's a very quick chapter.
Barely anything happens. She wakes up. They're taking care of what's his face, James. She has venom in her. He gets sucked out. She passes out. Chapter's over.
Yep. You hear nothing.
That was fun.
You hear nothing about James in this chapter. You don't. Nothing goes down. All it is just Bella is really hurt, and they suck out the venom, and that's it. So
freaking weak.
Yeah. we get to chapter 24, and it's called an impasse. So Bella wakes
More
up.
like pass gas. Freaking dumb book, man. Oh, it's so stupid. I'm glad I didn't buy this thing or anything. Gosh.
Yeah. Well. All right. Cool. Anyways.
Sorry, I'm just pissed off.
Don't
I was
apologize.
just expecting so much more.
Don't apologize.
Like at least something. This is one of the worst endings ever. Like, okay, I watched Star Wars the last night or whatever, Last Jedi. Finally, it took me about 3 or 4 tries to finish it, even though it's free on Netflix or whatever. And it just so happened to be May 4th today, so I was like, oh, how appropriate. I finished it this morning. That's also terrible.
It's a terrible movie. Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not as bad as this.
Like,
it's just so stupid. There's nothing here. I'm trying to remember if there was anything else, like just at least some cool detail or reveal or something. But there's nothing here, man. It's pointless. Like, we read the whole book and it's just, what were we looking forward to? Like, I don't understand. There's nothing here. We didn't learn anything. We didn't get anything out. Like, there's no cool, like, new feature. She didn't actually turn into a vampire. She just survived a little predator. Like, that's it. That could have been a side story to the book. Yet that was what the whole book was based off of.
And we didn't
so
even find
bad.
out until, like, 2 chapters ago. Like, you're totally right. This could have been something, like, more towards the beginning of the book.
Seriously.
Like, this could have been, like, they could have done, like, oh, James,
yeah, chapter 3.
Yeah,
Here comes James.
This could have been at the, like, towards the beginning or middle of the book. The ending of the book could have been, like,
The next book, probably,
Lauren and Victoria or something like that attack. Because they want to get revenge because of James. You know what I mean? Like, something like that. Like, that could have been the ending of this book. Like, it's... Oh, yeah. I hear you. We can spend more time at the end. Let's try to get through chapter 24 here.
Oh my gosh. Good luck.
She wakes up, what she says, on a very uncomfortable bed. The pillows were flat and lumpy. So basically, we find out that she wakes up in a hospital room, and Edward's in the room, and basically just trying to, like, say, like, oh, everything's all good. You have a broken leg. Your ribs you have 4 broken ribs. Your head's got a few, cuts in it and stuff.
And your mom's here.
We find out, that her mom is there in Phoenix. So, we find out that Bella, so she had to get some transfusions because of the blood loss. And Edward was like, you didn't smell like you. You know what I mean? Like, it
wasn't her blood.
It wasn't her blood, but he says that she's back to normal now. That she's fine. She smells good again, and so.
And then she asks him if she tasted as good as she smelled. Perverted.
And he says, even better than I had imagined.
Right?
Wow, whoa-wee.
Okay, calm down.
Oh boy. Oh,
but we can't get excited over this conversation because it's already over. It just goes back to bull crap.
So, and then we find out, she finally asks, she says, what happened to James? Edward says, after I pulled him off of you, Emmett and Jasper took care of him.
Why didn't they do that in the freaking beginning? Oh, it was that easy. They were all there. Oh. Sorry.
Are you gonna go on or no?
No, I'm just thinking out loud real quick.
There was a fierce note of regret in his voice. She says, I didn't see Emmett or Jasper there. They had to leave the room. There was a lot of blood.
In other words, it would have just ate Bella.
So basically, what he's saying is, there was a lot of action, there was a lot of blood, but you don't get to hear anything about it.
Yeah. I'm not a violent writer. I'm not gonna write about violence. I'm against violence. That's probably what she was going for.
Except she went off about how he stomped on her leg and snapped it in two.
This is
That's
true.
pretty
Dang
graphic.
What the heck, man? So lame. So bad.
She then goes on to ask if Alice saw the tape, because if you remember, James recorded the whole thing.
Right.
And so she says, yeah, no, Edward says yes. She was always in the dark. That's why she didn't remember. So we find out, obviously about Alice. And then basically she's trying to they basically just have a lot of conversation here. This is where they talk a lot. It's basically they're trying to figure out where they're going to go from here after everything that's happened. But
and then they talk about how Alice fabricated evidence of how she fell down 2 flights of stairs and out a window in a hotel or whatever.
Gosh! Oh my god!
What? What? What the heck? Did I miss something here? I thought that was just the detail, nothing bad or good about it. What?
How stupid! You fell down 2 flights of stairs and through a window? Oh my gosh. Okay. I've had a few falls downstairs, you know what I mean? I've grown to houses that have stairs. Not
You've fallen downstairs?
Nothing crazy, but if I start I've slipped, you know what I mean, and then you tumble type of thing. If I start to lose my balance on stairs, if I I don't know, any sort of falling on stairs whatsoever, I do everything I can to stop it. You know what I mean? So
I get you. You sprawl out, or you sit
after a
down
couple
or
stairs,
whatever.
after a couple stairs down, I'm all right, I catch myself. You know what I mean? I can just picture Bella just being
She hits the wall,
you know,
and then she's and then she rolls over and then keeps falling down the next flight of stairs.
Exactly.
And then she hits the wall, and she's and she leans up against the window, and then she's so fat she falls through the window.
You know that scene? Have you seen Hot Rod?
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know the scene where he just falls down the hill for ever?
Yeah.
That's what I just picture Bella on the stairs. It's just ooh, oh,
yeah.
It's so funny because Edward's well, it is believable, and he's but he's totally making fun of her. Yeah, it's so I don't know. It's really sad. It really is. I don't know. But they so basically her mom comes in next. I don't think anything really happens right here, except for this really cheesy, it seems like I'm gonna have to be even more careful with you than usual. And she's I was not finished kissing you. Don't make me come over there.
That was so
give
weird.
me a break.
Come on. Get over it.
Alright, so then her mom...
Yeah, when I read that, I was really? We're going there? We're trying to get that romantic in the book, and this scene? Come on.
Yeah, it's...
Come on.
Ugh.
You're 17 years old. Or was she 16 years old? You're 16 years old. Come on.
16 or 17. I'm trying to remember now. I think she says she's 17 here. But, so the mom comes in, and she's oh, Edward's in here. He never leaves, does he? And so, I think he's pretending to be asleep here.
Yeah, he's totally trying to fake it.
And so...
Fake it till you make it.
She finds out it's Friday, so she finds out that she's been out for a couple days. She's been in the hospital bed for I don't remember if it says exactly, but it's been 2 or 3 days. So they talk about Carlisle and how he's like such a nice young man, how he could be a model, and
Dumb.
she's basically just being a mom here, just like asking like, oh, like don't move, like you gotta be, you gotta rest, you gotta, get better. She asked about Phil, and Phil apparently got signed to the Suns, so basically they're gonna be staying,
Moving and living in Florida.
Yep, they're gonna be just moving in, and they're like, hey, like, oh, you're gonna love Jacksonville, like, you know what I mean, like it's gonna be so awesome to have you. Yeah, it's gonna be
beach. Yeah,
and she's like, Mom, like I'm not gonna be moving with you guys. Like I'm staying in Forks, and she's like, what? You hate Forks? What are you talking about?
right. Didn't you just come to Phoenix? What the heck?
Yeah, like she's super confused, which I would be too.
Of course.
So she's like, no, like I have friends in Forks. Like I'm in school. I gotta finish, where I'm at. And then she kind of like, the mom kind of looks over at Edward, but she doesn't really say anything here. Not like right now, but like,
is it this boy? That's what she says.
Yeah, later she's like, "Are you staying because of him?" And she's like, I think Edward's crazy about you. I think he's in love with you." And she's like, "Well, how do you feel about him?" And she's like, "I'm pretty crazy about him. It's just a crush though, or something like that. Like it's just like a crush, but she's lying to her or whatever." And the mom totally buys this. She also says the reason why she wants to stay is because of Charlie. She doesn't want to leave Charlie alone. But, like, this is kind of stupid because she's, like, lying here. It's not because any of these reasons. It's just because of Edward. And it's actually, like, it's a really sad and selfish thing of Bella. Like, it's really bad. Because she goes on later and she says, like, when her and Edward are arguing about how she wants to become a vampire, she says, like, I want to be with you forever. Like, I don't need anybody else. She's, like, saying, like, if, like, I have to be with you, like, you're the only person I care about losing. And it's like, are you kidding me? This is so stupid. It's like high school. It's a freaking high school relationship. Like, you break up after a month in high school. This is your first relationship, Bella. Like, you don't know. Like, I'm sorry. A lot of you are out there, like, you might have had your high school sweetheart, you got married, that's fine. A lot of the times, it does not work out that way. You date someone for a month, and you break up. Like, especially, this is, like, Bella's first relationship. She doesn't even, like, you don't know all that much yet. You just don't. Like, I had relationships in high school, and it was, like, you think you know stuff, and then you look back on it and you're like, that was so stupid. She's like saying like, I want to become a vampire and I want to be with you and I don't care about anyone else. Like, this is such a, like, you're like 2 weeks into your relationship where you can't get your hands off of each other. Like, that's what this is. Like, here
they've barely even gone out. Like, they've gone out to the woods.
Exactly.
They went to Seattle or whatever it was. What was it called? Port Angeles. But that wasn't even like intentional. And then she went to Edward's house, had baseball, and then immediately all this crap came crumbling down or whatever. Like, they haven't really seen each other very much either.
Like, what Stephenie Meyer should have done was, she should have written this book when, like, Bella and Edward, they should be like in their like 30s, and Bella, like, is coming off, like, she just had, like, a divorce or something like that. So she, like, actually, like, has life experience. She knows what relationships are about or something. Like, she knows what love is.
I get what you're saying.
And they should have had it where, like, I don't, like, they could have, like, skipped time, stuff where, like, they're in their relationship for, like, a couple months. There's a thing that, like, breaks them up, they get back together, you know what I mean? Like, for, like, 6-7 months, and then she finds out that Edward's a vampire. Like, they should have done something like that. Like, it would have made so much more sense for them to, like, actually
be in love.
Like, be in love. Like, this is, like, I think they've seriously have, been they've talked to each other for like maybe like a month at this point.
And in
Like,
some
month
ways,
or
I almost
two.
feel like more time has passed than that. But it doesn't really like give you all the details of like actual like time that they've been spending together.
At the beginning of the book, it kind of did. It would be like, oh, like, and like the snow went away or whatever, like,
Right,
or
like
it started
seasons pass,
snowing.
a couple
But
weeks go by or whatever. Yeah.
and they talked about how they were playing baseball, but then it's like it just kind of like stopped a little bit. But so basically she decides that she's gonna stay in Forks. The mom is like, all right, and so
And then here's like the most awkward part. You've been like at the hospital waiting for your daughter to wake up. And now you're up. Okay. And they've been talking for
2 minutes, 3 minutes,
a couple pages. Yeah, they've had a conversation for maybe about 5 minutes. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt. We'll say that she's been awake for 20 minutes. Way more time than actually what happened, right? I would imagine you'd want to stay with your daughter and talk to her and like not abandon her that quick right after she woke up. Her mom's already looking at the clock, like ready to be like, go take a call from her boyfriend or her husband, whatever it is.
She says that Phil's gonna call her soon, and it's like, you realize that you can just like not answer the phone, like
it seems like she has to go home to answer the phone. So she's not even going to be in the hospital.
She says she has a cell phone though.
I know, but it makes it seem like she's going to leave. Like she's not even going to come. Like she's not even going to be in the hospital anymore.
She says that she's going to come back at night. She says that, But
yeah,
it's
see,
like,
so she'll be gone. Like she's taking off.
But I totally agree. Like if one of my kids was in like a life endangering, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
in intensive care or whatever.
And they haven't seen each other in forever, too.
Right.
Like, she's been in Forks. Like how?
What kind of mom is this?
I don't think she says that she was a good mom. I don't think
They're good
Bella,
friends, though.
They're good
what
friends. Yeah, but friend isn't a good mom.
Still, okay. I think we're good friends. Like, if you were passed out for a few weeks and I was, like, worried or whatever, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't just stick around for 20 minutes and be like, all right, dude, hope you get better later.
I'm going to Jacksonville, baby.
Later, I got a new job. Hope you get better, nerd.
I'm gonna catch some sun, you noob.
Have fun here in freaking Phoenix, Luther. Yeah, I'm pretty sure even that wouldn't happen. But I would imagine the bond between a mom and a daughter, I mean, you can't treat your daughter that bad. I mean, if you love your daughter, you're not just going to abandon her like that.
Yeah.
And they weren't talking for 20 minutes. It's more likely like 4 or 5 minutes tops that they had this conversation.
No, yeah.
And she's already going to take a phone call from her boyfriend or whatever that she's been with every day. That's completely healthy and all this crap.
I totally agree.
Dumb.
So yeah, this is the part where she's like, I think that boy's in love with you. What do you feel about him? And she's like, oh, like it's just a crush or whatever. So the mom says like, oh, I'll be back tonight. And they kind of like, Bella, the mom's like, no, like I can stay. But Bella's like, no, like you should go, whatever. It's fine. So she leaves. And then Edward's like, this is where they get into their argument. This is where, once the mom leaves, this is where they start talking. And this is basically like this is like the end of the book. They start talking and they get into like a little like argument. Basically, Bella's like, why didn't you just like, I could have been a vampire by now if you would have just let the venom spread, And he's arguing that like, no, but because you need to live like a life. You need to have an actual life. And that's where this is where we talked about this earlier, is that's the problem. Is you say that you want her to have a life, but everything you guys are doing right now is like not helping that at all. Like
nothing.
You have to make a decision. You have to either turn into a vampire or walk away forever and not come back. Like it's those two choices.
And it should have been determined a long time ago. Even though he says, like, I can't stay away from you, sorry. well, then get over it. She obviously likes you being around her too. So it's like, just bite her already. Jeez.
And
he didn't even have to bite her now. All I had to do was just leave the venom in. It was more risky for Edward to suck all the blood out. He could have killed her. All he had to do was just leave her be, and she would be a freaking vampire right now. Ugh, sorry. It's stupid.
No, dude, you're fine.
Dude.
You're totally fine.
It's just the same point over and over again. Just pounding it in Stephanie Meyer's face. Eventually she'll hear this podcast when we're like huge, and she'll be like, yeah, I messed up. But in some way she didn't mess up, because she made a viral book and she made millions of dollars. So
if you make a series and it becomes movies and you make millions of dollars, you didn't mess up.
Yeah, you did something right.
It doesn't mean
you made a good book, though.
It doesn't mean it's good. It just means you got lucky and you made something. I don't know.
Yeah. You're like Backpack Dancing Kid or whatever that got famous for all the wrong reasons.
Okay, so
wait, what is it? I can't do it. That's too hard. That strains way too much.
The nurse comes in and says, "Hey, like, time for more meds." She says, "No. I don't want to close my eyes right now. I don't want to fall asleep." So she's like, "Okay, I'll be back in a minute. Like, press the button when you're ready for me to come back in, and I'll give you the pain meds."
Loser.
So she leaves. And Bella's like, "Please don't leave me to Edward." Like, that's it. She says that a lot here. She's like, "Don't leave me, please. Like, just stay with me." And he's like, "I promise I won't leave you. I'm here."
Don't skip the breath.
What?
Right. Like, during this conversation,
yeah. I know.
The smell of his breath was soothing.
It's like, she almost seems like she's having like an anxiety attack when this happens or something. Like, she's like,
her heart stops during part of it, right?
Really?
Yeah, the machine had to like reset her heart. It like stopped.
All I see is that she says that
maybe it's not this part. She says maybe it's when they were kissing or something.
Maybe it says my ribs were throbbing. That's all I see. And then this is when she's like, so the smell of his breath was soothing. It seemed to ease the ache of my breathing. He continued to hold my gaze while my body slowly relaxed. And then he's like, "Are you better?" And she says, "Yes." And it's like, we really have this breathing, like, breath is not soothing. Oh my gosh. Like, it's not.
I know, right? What if this is like actually changing how girls think a guy needs to be? Like, they just like wait for the guy to have actually good breath or whatever, and that's all they're like counting on. They date all the guys like, "Nah, his breath's disgusting. I don't like it. Nah, his breath doesn't do it for me. Sorry."
Like, I can picture Edward, like, I can picture them in the hospital bed, and like Edward is just doing like the whole like, and Bella's like smelling it, and just nice. And then the littlest bit of just a little bit of a smile just goes on her face.
It's like an Icebreakers commercial. Ooh.
Dude, that's what they should have done with Edward and Bella, an Icebreakers commercial.
No, please don't do it. Please don't do it. It's too late. You can't do it. Don't listen to Jason.
All right.
Oh, gosh.
So yeah, that's what they're. So this is the argument. They're like, I could have killed you so easily, but you didn't. And like he goes on, and he says like, what is it? Oh, I have it written in my notes. Shoot, where is it? Oh, the part where he says like it was impossible to stop. Like, he was like, it was impossible to stop, like, like sucking the venom. He's like, it was impossible, but I did it. And I'm like, that's not the definition of impossible then. Like, if you were able to stop, it's not really impossible. Hard. Yeah, it's really hard, or it was difficult to stop. Like, but like, she says, like, I'll be the first to admit that I have no experience with relationships. Exactly. If you have no experience with relationships, you don't know what love really is. Anyways, but it just seems logical. A man and a woman have to be somewhat equal. As in, like, you can't always be the one to save me. Like, I need to be able to save you. Like, Bella's saying this to Edward. Edward says, "You have saved me." And she's like, "I can't be Lois Lane. I want to be Superman too." Like...
Hey, she got her superhero straight this time.
Yeah, I know, finally. She says, like, do you wish that Carlisle hadn't saved you? And she's like, no, I don't wish that. But my life was over. I wasn't giving anything up. And this is where she says, you are my life. You're the only thing it would hurt me to lose. And it was like, that line. Like, you have a mom and you have a dad. Like, what are you talking about? You were going off and off about how worried you were about Carlisle 2 chapters ago when you were like...
Charlie?
Yeah, when Charlie was... She was like, no, is Charlie okay? Like, I need to call him. Like, I need to make sure he's okay that Victoria doesn't get him. Like, she was so worried about him. Now she's
Right.
like, oh, you're the only thing I care about? Like, come on, give me a break, Bella.
Weak. Get your priorities straight. Quit lying to yourself.
But, he does mention this, though. Edward does say, like, Charlie, though? Like, Renee? But she doesn't really seem to, like... She's like, look, that's not an issue either. She says, Renee has always made the choices that work for her. She would want me to do the same. And Charlie's resilient. He's used to being on his own. Like,
yeah, he can handle it. He can handle me not being here anymore.
What a terrible thing to say. He's used to being by himself. He's alone. He doesn't know it, like...
She's super full of herself, too. She's like, I can't take care of them forever. It's like, are you kidding me, dude? You're 17 years old and they're fine without you.
So, like,
I have my own life to live.
I have my own life to live.
She's so stubborn.
This is when he says exactly, and I won't end it for you.
It's just so confusing.
So,
It's going both ways. Like, I don't think even Stephanie Meyer knew where she wanted to go. Like, did she want... I don't know how to, like, say it. It's like her story could have gone either way, but she couldn't decide which way to go. So she's building up both sides as much as she can, so that when she does figure out how she wants the book to end, she can make it end. But at the same time, it's too late. The book's already freaking over. She still can't decide. Ugh, it's so dumb.
Yeah. So this is where we get the title of the chapter. Like, she says, she's like, well, you're not the only vampire, Bella. She, like, threatens Edward here. She's like, you're not the only vampire I know. And then Edward's like, Alice wouldn't. Like, and then it's like, I can just picture this scene when Bella's like, oh, yeah, she will. If I ask her, she'll do it. And Edward's like, no, like,
she won't do it. No way. Stop it.
So then she's like, so where does that leave us? And Edward says, I believe it's called an impasse. And this is the part, this is where the ending of the chapter happens where Edward's like, no, like, I think you need to get some rest.
You need more drugs.
So, you know what I mean? Like, so give in. And this is where he reaches for the button to call the nurse. And Bella's like, no, don't do it. And he obviously ignores this and pushes the button anyways. He's so like, nope. Like, it's my way. So
you're dumb. She is dumb.
The nurse comes in and gives the pain medication to Bella. And like, this is where Bella's like, you're
starting
talking about
to drowse off, like, she's getting weird, starting to slur words, everything.
She's like, you're talking about forever, and Edward's like, oh, you'll get over it. It's just a crush, and he's referring to what Bella said
previous conversation.
Yeah, her mom. And
now she's getting groggy.
She just says, like, please, like, stay, don't leave. And then Edward's like, no, I promise I'll stay. Don't worry. We can argue when you wake up. He gets, like, close to her like ear, and he says, I love you. He whispered, I love you. She says, me too. And then
that's so funny. She said it wrong. Ha.
And then basically the last thing she says in this book, obviously there's an epilogue, and we'll cover that next week. But the last thing she says is, I'm betting on Alice. And then she falls asleep. So That's
Which means that Alice saw her turning into a vampire.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that part. She does say that she thinks that Alice saw that she becomes a vampire in the future.
Right.
And
then Edward said that
Edward doesn't deny
she saw her. No, he said that she saw her dying too, or whatever.
Yeah. He's like, he also saw that you were like you die, but you didn't do that either. You know what I mean? So Alice, I think that it's right that Alice did see her turn into a vampire. She saw that she's dead. And my obvious, you know what? They might be the same thing because you technically die when you turn into a vampire, right? Like your heart stops beating. So it could just be the same thing. Like maybe in the future she becomes a vampire and like that it's like the same vision basically, but just like 30 seconds apart where she's dead and she's not.
You don't see the whole thing.
So that's
stupid.
Those are chapters 23 and 24. I think
that's the end of the book.
I think we're allowed to rant a little bit more now if we want. I think that's
what else do we say? Like, I don't know. It's just a big waste of time. Who spends their like? Let's say someone reads this book and now they know the whole book. Was it worth it? Would I recommend this to my friend? No. Don't recommend this book to your friend. You're just going to waste your friend's time too. But if you say that, oh my gosh, I love this book. It held my attention I couldn't put it down. It's such a good love story. Oh my gosh, Edward's so perfect. And then that causes the next girl to read it. And then it turns into a viral sensation in the whole world because of that. For all the wrong reasons. That's just so stupid.
It's like...
Sorry. There's no way to describe it besides it being stupid.
Could you imagine watching a movie where they build up this villain and then they don't even show like
him dying?
They don't show him like all they say is like, he's gone now. Like they don't even say like he's dead. They just say like he went back to where he came from. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like how can you feel closure in this book? Like how can you feel like, I don't get it.
It just wasn't delivered properly.
Remember when we first read this book and like all the beginning chapters, it was like, Edward and his perfect face, look at the Colons are here at school today. Oh my gosh, like I'm so excited. And then it's like, oh, biology class, like, let's work on this project together because we have to, because we sit by each other and all this stuff. And you're like, we're sitting there this whole time and we're like, okay, like eventually it's got to get somewhere. You know what I mean? We kept telling ourselves that week after week. Yeah. We're like, hey, there's going to be a point where something has to happen. And nothing happened for like the longest time. And then we finally got that chapter where,
they go to play baseball?
They play baseball, and that was like chapter like what? Like 17,
that was a couple chapters ago.
They play baseball, and then Alice is like, oh, the visitors are coming earlier than expected. And then they like just show up. And oh, you remember that? You remember when they just showed up? And then they like went to Phoenix, and James recorded him being creepy. And then broke her leg, and then she woke up in a hospital.
Like when you say it like that, it almost sounds like the story's there. It almost sounds like it's like a properly made script or a screenplay. Like you could see it in a movie. I don't know, man, but it's just the way it's written and how many pages it takes to get all these main details out. It's just not there. Like, it's not enough. It's just not enough to hold my attention. It's not enough to demand, like, proper praise. I don't know. It's not like she has bad grammar or anything. It's not like she's uncreative. It's just she didn't do it right.
Yeah, I think
she missed some certain ingredients. Like, you can make pancakes a million different ways, right?
Yeah.
But you can make a pretty nasty pancake if you forget a couple things, like basic ingredients, like let's say flour, for example. You're never going to make a pancake with just eggs and salt and baking powder. You can try all day long. It's not a pancake. It's going to be something else.
Or you can have, or I don't know. I think I might see it this way, this book. I think that it's like, instead of going pancakes, because I don't want to be like you and I want to be more original. Let's go with let's go with like omelets or something. Okay. So she's like, she has all the right ingredients. Like she has like the most gourmet ingredients like there is. All right.
Right. She's got a protagonist.
Like she has like just she spent money. Like she spent money on these products. Okay, she like has them already. She starts making it and all this stuff. She combines all these things, right? And then you eat it, and it's not very good because of the combination.
There's no salt.
Like she put like the combination is all wrong. Like like she threw in. I don't know, like, just the flavors that she put in just don't work well together. And it's like, this is what, it's so weird how this story is, like, structured. Because...
Is reading like eating? Because we both used food right now. And I'm thinking that reading's a lot like eating for some reason.
It could be. I think it is now. I think it's official. I think we just made it that way.
Okay, yeah. So okay. It is a lot like eating, because you picked the book because of what someone told you of how it quote unquote tastes, right? Like the end result. Oh, it was so good. The book was awesome. It was such a good book. Oh, that hamburger was so good. I'm going to recommend that you go to In-N-Out and you go get an In-N-Out hamburger. Yeah. Right. Okay. So I'm going to go read Twilight because somebody told me it's such a good love story and it's awesome. So you're biting into it, you're chewing, and that first bite that you had, the first couple chapters, wasn't that good. Like, okay, maybe I'm just not used to this burger. Maybe I got to keep biting. Like,
maybe I didn't get
I'm pretty sure
bite of pickle
food should taste. Yeah, maybe you didn't get a pickle. Maybe you didn't get everything in that first bite. Maybe there wasn't any ketchup on that side of the hamburger or something. So you keep biting, waiting. You're like, wait, this book got recommended to me for some reason. I must be missing like the last bite. The last bite has what I need. And then you finally get to that last bite and you're expecting it because you're like, dang, this thing had everything. It had cheese, it had buns, it had meat. There's got to be something here. And then you finish it and you're like, I just wasted $5.
And you run into the bathroom and you have to vomit because there was actually like 8-week cheese in there.
Oof.
And you just have diarrhea.
And diarrhea.
Like, hey... Look, honestly, let me restructure this book, and it's gonna be a billion times better. All right, the first couple chapters, fine. Put all that stuff in there where it's like she meets Edward,
lovey-dovey, yeah, big deal. Who cares?
He stops the van. She's fine. That's so cool. Like that's fine. Okay, but what you need to put in there is the introduction of James, Victoria, and Laurent way earlier in the book. You need to have it to like where, like.
They threaten her in the beginning.
Yeah, like they threaten her at the beginning and they're like, don't lay a hand on her. And they're like, fine, whatever. And like James gives this like weird look like,
right.
Like I highly doubt it.
Like let's say he's in the background, like she's at nighttime and he's on like a roof or something.
Yes,
and she can see him outside.
Exactly. Like something happened.
And then she's starting to get super creeped out. And then like Edward is there at nighttime and he's like, wait, hold on. And then, yeah, they're like fighting out in the front yard or something, all quiet. Yeah, there's mad conflict going on during the whole book, rather than just at the stupid end.
It's like, I get it. I get it. It's a love romance book. I get it.
It's not even a love romance book. If that's what love is,
it's not.
That's wrong.
It's not. But
that's so wrong.
That's fine. Okay, like. Girls like this book, that is totally fine. Okay?
Yeah, because it's dreamy, right? It's dreamy.
It's dreamy. That's fine. But, like, you have to realize this. There is no ending to this book.
Nothing.
Like, how can you sit there and say there is an ending to this book? There is no ending. It's like, okay, Bella needed to be conscious during the fight with James. That needed to happen. She needed, like, the James fight needed to go down. James needed to be killed. And then...
Edward needed to almost die.
Like, something needed to happen, right?
Some big sacrifice, yeah.
That's fine. Where she got bit and she's in pain. Okay, they save her. That's fine, whatever, yada yada. Because there's 3 more books. I get that. I get the whole, like, she's not turned into a vampire yet. Like, there's more books to happen. There's things gonna happen. That's fine. But the climax of this book, that James fight needed to happen. If it happened, I think I would have felt differently about this book a little bit more. I think I would have been like, okay, like, it was an okay book. Like, it's fine. Like, it... From our perspective, we were told that, you know, like, okay, like, these books are good, like, you got to give them a chance, yada, 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 and we did. We were like, okay, at the ending, like, there's going to be something, because so far there's been nothing throughout 18 chapters. Like, we're going to get something at the end here. And so, when something finally was starting to happen, we're like, okay, sweet, like, this is it. And then, nothing. Like, there was just nothing after that. If there would have been, like, if the whole James conflict would have been, like, shown to us, if we would have, like, seen it, like, that is... You know what I mean? Like, that is closure. Like, we would have had closure on this book, and I could have gone into, like, I would have been fine. I think I would have been totally fine if the James fight happened. Would you?
I wouldn't. No. Not really. No. Because, like I said, like, or like you were saying, the book needed to be structured different.
I think so, too.
I'm still scarred from all those other chapters.
At least there would have been
bland
something.
And nothing. There's just no salt, though, you know? Like, have you ever had meat without salt on it? Like, at all? It's just gross, dude. It's disgusting. You don't want that. You don't want a book that's bland. I mean, I can write a book just as good as this.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's going to be a New York freaking best time seller for no stupid reason at all.
I'm just...
You just got to focus on the lovey-dovey stuff, and apparently girls dig that, and they're going to buy your book and recommend it to all their friends.
I'm trying to take it from a different, like, point of view. I think, like, if you're looking at this as a dreamy type of book, whatever, and that's fine, and you're using the first book to build up, like, characters, like, if you're really trying to introduce Edward and Bella and take your time on them and, like, really kind of start with their relationship and, like, really try to, like, introduce that, like, I'm fine with that. Like, I honestly, I think I would be. As long as there is a closure to the end of this book, I think I would have been like, I don't think I would have said it's like a great book or anything. I would have been like, at least this is like an okay book. Like, I got through it. We can move on to the next book with, like, okay, maybe it picks up more because they, you know, they have more plot to go through. You know what I mean? Like, it's the first book. Like, I get that. It's like the Harry Potter book, The Sorcerer's Stone. Like, you know what I mean? You get, like, a hint at, like, certain like plot and all that stuff, so you're like, okay, like, you don't know what's gonna happen until you read the next books. And that's what I think I would have been like okay with it, because I would have been like, oh, like, we're gonna get a lot more in these next books, and it's fine. But anyways, that's my thinking. That's what I think. I think that this was not a good book at all. I really wish there would have been closure, and I think that would have made it a lot better. That's just my personal opinion.
Whoever's a fan of this book and are tripping out because we don't like this ending, screw you. Seriously. I had a point, I forgot exactly what it was, but it was more or less along the lines of, like, okay, well, maybe let's say they didn't want to have a typical kind of story where it has a big resolve at the end and a fight scene and all of that stuff. Maybe that's what they were going for. Let's say Stephanie Meyer was going for that for this book, you know? So she had a different kind of story written out where it didn't have a lot of conflict and not a huge resolve. I mean, there was a big conflict and it definitely did get resolved because he did die, right? And there's no more danger anymore and all the blood or the venom got sucked out of her and yeah, she's safe again. But it's just not delivered the same way that we're used to. So if that's the case, is it still a good book? In my head, I say no. Because it still lacks a lot of storytelling. I mean, a good story is going to hold your attention. This isn't a good story at all. I think you can hear a siren in my background.
Yeah, you can. What's going on with that?
I don't know. Gang activity.
Dude, someone just like we haven't even released this podcast yet, and they're already like people are already sending like they're gonna swat you because
they're swatting me.
How you said this book is horrible.
Stop that, man. Yeah. Anyways, I don't know if you got what I was trying to say about like that different kind of story, or I don't know.
Yeah.
I just feel like if I compare this book to, let's say, the old man telling his grandson about the Princess Bride.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, there's a good story, you know?
Yeah.
There's a great story with lots of details and lots of character development. And it gets done quickly.
And there's romance in it. There's romance gets built into it. Yeah.
There's an epic book that deserves a movie and a sequel and, keep going. But no, it was just one.
That's a good point.
Oh, dude. And it was it was great. That's a great movie. And that's like, what, 40 years old or something? How old is that?
It's pretty old. Like
I saw that kid, the kid in that movie that was getting the story told to him. He's sick.
Ben or
Fred Savage. Yeah, he's old now. Yeah, whatever. He's just an old grown up guy now. It's like, dang, that movie is so long, but it is so timeless. And you know why? Because it just did it right. So that deserved a bestseller, as a movie. I don't think it's actually a book, though, is it? It might not be.
No, it's
even if it is a book. Okay, I'm pretty sure if I read that book, I would definitely be into it because I'm like, oh, dude, heck yeah, Fezzik, let's go. And then a Spaniard, and then a guy that tortures people, and then a king that dude, that's got everything. That's great.
I think you're
actual
right.
Conflict and resolve. This thing is just. It's just designed for little girls to gossip about. Like, it's what they converse about in between each other. Like, oh my gosh, I have a massive crush on him. Oh my gosh, I made out with him. Oh my gosh, blah, 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 blah. That's it. That's all it is.
The reason
completely pointless.
That's why I think that's why I say I think you're right, because there's books out there that are romance book, and they're not just romance books. They have like action in them, or they have like comedy. This book the whole purpose of this book is to be romance, and like that was like pretty much her only what's the word I'm looking for? Like topic,
objective,
her only focus,
goal.
Yeah, her objective, and she couldn't even get that right. So like there's other books, there's other things out there that are better romance, and they have another element to it. Like so.
Yeah, it offers more. It just puts more on the table.
Yeah, I think you're right. So that is chapter. Yeah, those are those chapters. I think this is gonna be a hard episode for people to listen to. I think there's gonna be a lot of diehard fans. I think there's gonna be some fans that are gonna be like, you know what, like maybe you're right. I think there's some listeners out there that they're like,
enraged.
Like, no, they're probably like laughing, like, like Twilight's stupid, like, you know what I mean? But like, we're giving these books a chance. We're gonna keep reading them. So stick with us. I know
we'll
some
start
of you
fresh after this epilogue.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna cover the epilogue next or whatever.
Yeah, we'll do the epilogue next week. And
the epilogue.
So stick with us, guys. Don't be like, oh yeah, they hate Twilight, we're not gonna listen to this podcast anymore. Like, okay, we're gonna judge each book you know what I mean, by itself. We're not gonna be like, I don't know. We're gonna go to the next book, clean slate. We're gonna read it. We'll see how it goes. So stick with us. Make sure to leave a review on iTunes.
Make sure, if you can, pick your favorite episode and tell us why it was your favorite episode.
Yeah,
because we had unintentionally, I believe we did it different almost every time. Like, we focused on funny, we focused on picking on Bella, we focused on Stephanie Meyer, we focused on just telling the story how it went, we focused, like today, ripping the book apart, shredding it to pieces. Yeah, what suited you the best? Because I'm curious about that. I'm pretty sure Jason is too.
I love the feedback. I love it when people comment and they tell us things, what they think, you know what I mean? So be more involved with us, because we read those comments, we read stuff, and we reply. We honestly want to hear from you. So that's what's good about Facebook and like Twitter. So check out our Facebook page, Twilight Noobs. I have
an Instagram now.
I have Twitter and Instagram. noob
Called it.
noob underscore Jason. I try to like post things, at least just like one thing every day. And if you send me a message or something like that, or I don't know, anything, you mention me, like I get back to you. So I'd love to hear from you guys.
He has no life. He's waiting for you.
I'm waiting for your call. But yeah, hope you enjoyed. I think that's gonna do it, unless you have something else.
Nah, this was just our longest episode for one of the worst, shortest chapters ever.
All right, well that's gonna do it. Thanks for that. And this has been Twilight Noobs. I'm Jason.
Cue that weird music. I'm Eric.
And
I know how to end this. I know how to end this.
what?
Just stop recording right now.